All right, hello. We are probably going to wrap up this track today. We're looking at the UTV video. And then once the track is done, there's a little bit of video editing that I think is going to happen, a little bit of tweaking, and then we will go ahead and send it out. But let's go ahead and hop into the project. Let's see what we're working with here. I believe last time we covered just about everything. I just popped in and added these two notes here on stuff that I would like to adjust. Let's see. So one of the issues was the kick. I feel like it just needs a little something there. That's probably going to be like some sort of volume automation. I'm not sure what we're going to do about it yet. There's also a pretty high pass that maybe could be adjusted a little bit just to give a little bit more of a oomph for that part. That way it really feels like something's building. Because right now I just feel like it's a little lackluster. We'll go right into it. So we have two kicks. We have the actual kit, and then we have this auxiliary sample. And then when this hits, everything drops out except for the auxiliary clap. And then we're going to have the kicks kick in. And I feel like it's just not quite, it's not hitting as hard as I would like it, especially because it does that, and I just feel like it's getting really lost. The trick there is that I don't want it to be too much in the front, but I want it to really have a better impact on what that is. And I'm thinking maybe ramp up the volume so it's like something like that, and then it jumps to the full bass line in there, and it's just boom bap, boom bap, boom bap. So that's something we got to consider here. And then the last one is just a real easy little thing. We've been talking about this little stinger. So simple fix for that would be to just glue it, reverse it, and I played with this a little bit. I liked how it sounded. So I just wanted to do it on camera. And of course, where does this line up? Let's pull up our video. And so like this is where it starts and this is where it stops. Something like that. So that was our reverse for stinger. Let's hop over here, pop open our mixer. No, that's not what we want. There we go. And let's take a look at this auxiliary kick. And one thing I'm curious about is if we were to go in here, let's go to solo it. I'm thinking somewhere around there would be good. It's a lot of extra low end there. I think it's definitely giving it a heavier footprint on the kick there. Alright, so let's go back to this bridge. Got a lot of saturation on there. I'm liking something like that a little better. Just a little rounder. And now let's go ahead and pop into the volume automation. And we'll try to do this real easy. Let's see. Just maybe like start low. And we'll do this a little high. Now what if we did fast start? It's already pretty much there by that point, so I think it's a little too fast. Let's do fast end. I feel like that's a little bit better. There's still something missing from this. I'm going to try to do a very fast attack, very fast release. So that's slower for sure. The idea here is just kind of curve it like that with the individual strikes. What if I were to take off a little more? Is it too much of the tail? Not there. I feel like that's giving it better clarity. And of course, there's an A/B knob that I should be using, but alright, I feel like that's a little cleaner. Maybe that's a little more reasonable. Let's hear it in context. Okay, I'm not hating on that. Oops, let me go and expand this as well. So we did it to 6. We did fast end. We started it a little differently. Go ahead and pull this back. And I think we're at a point where we're going to go ahead and do some freezing into place. And I think the best way to do this is going to be, let's go ahead and take this guy right here. Let's see if we can pull it from this. Let's see. Okay. So basically what we're doing is we're taking this bus and I'm just rendering it as it is. And then we'll go ahead and turn off the effects and stuff like that that's under there, and that should save us some CPU. Wow, quiet. All right. So here is our electric guitar bus stems, which means we could turn off all of these. Which means it will be a little bit of a pain in the butt to go back and edit these. But it saves the CPU, so that's the game we play. Probably get the solo guitar, probably get the bass. take this bass bus and we'll just render. And again, this just enables us to turn off all the effects and stuff like that that's running. But if we need to edit it, we'll have to basically mute the stem, mute this, and then jump back in, turn everything on real quick. And I still haven't made any adjustments from the last video, but that's something I could do today. I'm just gonna get like, I'm pretty happy with the mix for this overall, but I'm gonna tweak it around a little bit if I have to, and then I'm gonna try to put it through some of the mastering. That way I can go back, watch the ending, and be like, okay, this is where we cut off, this is where it jumped back into, and just kind of take it from there. See if there's anything that I particularly want, because honestly, like, there is a diminishing return at this stage where I'm like, okay, we're pretty much through with a lot of it. Like, I can turn on any of these buses and they sound pretty solid. There's nothing that I feel like I'm like particularly missing. There's little things, like I was thinking, like a harmony for the solo and the electric, like that comes in halfway, like that might have been a better move. I'm not too worried about it. If I want to go back in and spend more time with it, then we can do that, but I don't think it's going to overall affect the project very much. We'll go ahead and turn all these off. And let's say this last chord is the loudest. So it's already going just fine volume wise. I just have to do a standard smile. I mean, we can let that go a little bit. Go 1-0 on this. So we got a nice level that we're working with there. Ozone open. I think this is where we screwed it up last time, so we're going to give it a quick save. And I believe what our move was, let's mute everything and bring this up to normal. Turn it all off, and then without playing it, because I don't want to get copyright struck or anything like that, I want to render the reference track. And we'll do it, it's a wave. Well, sure, we'll do the entire project, doesn't really bother me either way. We're going to send this one just to the downloads, just somewhere where, hold it for a little bit. Ooh, there was one from yesterday. I bet that's the exact same one. Let me go ahead and put the sample track so we'll overwrite it. Just because I don't know if it even completed. I've been surprised at how hard it was to get the ceiling on a lot of it. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and open the folder. Well, that's not exactly where I was thinking to put it, but it's okay. Go ahead and bring this up, and we will go. All right, we gotta analyze it first. There's my copyright strike. I fooled myself. All right, let's undo that. Oops, my bad. Actually, I'm going to do a quick break. I'm doing laundry. I'm gonna flip it real quick. All right, it wasn't quite ready. Give it another 20 minutes or so. And it's country. That's what they pulled up. Yikes. It's so embarrassing. I did not mean to use that track. But let's go ahead and open up our mixer. There's our mixer. Okay. So we are doing it the other way. You got the chorus loaded up. Because the ozone settings were already on there, it really made it loud. But we want to use our own example track, so we're going to put that in there. It's going to build a chain around that, and it's saying here's what your track needs to be like that. So pull it in. So here's our equalizer. So it's saying less bass, a lot more low mids, a little less high mids, and more treble, which is fine. I mean that's totally reasonable. Let's see. I'm thinking this is causing trouble. And I think it's going to be this peak right here that's also giving it some damage. Take a little more out of it. Move that up just a little bit. And what are we going to do about this mid band? So here's a little trick I like to do is I'm going to move these at the same time. That way when I turn this one back on, it's still accurate. Curious, what falls into that middle band there? So that's kind of the high end. Looks like they're pushing the bass harder, but I think that's having more of a response down lower. What is around that 600 range? One more XCOM. And this one will just be for analysis purposes. I'm going to say 300 to 1.2K. Big range. I'm thinking maybe we raise the acoustic bus and the bass bus just a little bit, specifically the high of the bass bus. So let's go ahead. So this is gonna have to come down. Ugh, annoying. Yeah, we'll delete this. Turn these all back on. There. Let's pop back into the EQ grab and a little less of the 3K. Seems like that's something that we could do with maybe the X band compressor. Same thing with this, we could try to do a little bit something there, and then the treble is going to be the tricky part. So it's saying something like that, which is pretty radical. Let's see. So what would be living up in that area? Let's just solo this band. Just read it. So let's say it starts at 7K and just goes up. Let's solo this band. and some more of this. It up a little bit more for the treble. Oh, treble. Of course, sounds like that. And we'll just open a little bit more for the treble. So just for the drum bus, I'm cutting off some of the lows. Up here, just make it a high shelf. Let's see. Coming awful high too. Also open this and realize that I could add a band here. Let's make the top frequency, we'll go 2K, and then the low can be lower than that, like 100. Coming in a little too hot. So we're gonna have to adjust all the master signals and just bring it down just a hair. I think falls into the guitar bus. Yeah, all these fall into the guitar bus, so we really have to worry about the bass. The drum bus. Sound effects bus. Do we touch the synth? Yeah, let's just touch it too. And we're gonna go ahead and just break them down a couple dB. And just give everything a little bit of headroom here, because we're really pushing it to the ceiling, and we don't want it coming in so hot that it's going through the ceiling, because it's not going to capture that as clearly. And then we could always add gain later to kind of bring it up, but I would rather do that with everything at a controlled level. So now we're way lower. This is a much more comfortable place for it to be. Plus now our compression is going to act a little differently in there, which is nice. Because as you can see now, all these highs are not getting scrambled as bad. I raised this because that's a crazy amount of bump. Plus we did some of the actual instruments to try to change how that's going to work. So from here we can give it volume. So we're getting a comfortable number there. And then post compression, give it a little bit right there. Ozone back up, and we will relearn. So that's looking like a little bit more of a controllable kind of signal there. Even though I know it still wants it to be something nuts like this, which is just, I mean, I don't know what's so special about this bump. There must be something in that example track that really kicks out right there. So we're just going to take a peek at that. And let's match some of these EQ bumps here. So we're going to get a little bump real low. I always forget about this maximizer, always going crazy. I'm hearing a big difference in the honkiness of one of these clean guitars. So let's say, what is this, like 700? So for some reason, we just got to boost the heck out of this thing. From like 3 to like 15 maybe. So something like that. I mean, it's just nuts. Let's see what the hullabaloo is all about. Something like that. That might be a little more appropriate. And then our high shelf. Something a little bit more even kilter. The gain, I was like, man, it really thickens it up. So I'm trying to hear what the difference is. This is kind of like taking their suggested curve and just kind of doing it within a good amount of reason. They do a big cut down low too. Well, let's give it a shot. Let's just see what they're pointing out here. So let's say like 130. Do a pretty deep cut just like that. Something like that. Where does it rise back up? Is right around 300. So I think that's about right. I do agree with these highs. I like these. This, I'm not bumping it up that crazy. It does not sound good. I do see a little bit of the honkiness there. I don't want it to damage too much of this. Too much of the high bass. So let's give it another shot here. You know what? I forgot the levels are not true at the moment. This is a pretty reasonable curve in my mind. I mean, that's 200%. So 100%, something like this. I mean, this is still unheard of. I don't know what they're thinking there, but not going to worry too much about it. We're just going to go ahead and roll with what we can control. So let's do it off. Now 100%. 200%, so this is exaggerating what they're looking for. I'll give it a little extra for that direction. greater stereo width on the low end. Kind of here, I think, opening up a little bit. I'm never really that worried about these as long as it's more reasonable. And this dang thing, they always make it so loud. We'll give it a quick save. Let's run it back. I feel like it really changed the quality of that bass. There's almost like something that's irking me. feel like a little more tone can be rolled off that. Okay. Definitely more punch to the kick there. Give me a little bit more. Maybe I shouldn't have given him more. only thing I'm questioning, we're at 12% and probably 12% knowing me. Yeah. Part it could be extra quiet. Okay. I think we've hit a point where we've just about wrapped it. There always can be like little minor changes. I will have to go back and just look at what we lost to see if there's anything that I was assuming is here. But just from the sound alone, I'm not too mad at this. There's always a little bit of friction between what Ozone thinks you need and what sounds good. So you always kind of have to massage that. But it is helpful to have all those little plugins in one. And I do like the fact that it can kind of read it against the reading of something else. So you could be like, this is where this lands. This is where you are. You would need to do this to land in the same like the footprint as the song. So that is helpful, just kind of get an idea of what's missing. There must be something in there. I mean, I'll have to listen to it, but there must be something in there that's really pushing that 600 range. I don't know what, but man, that thing it's really trying to make that thing scream. And there was a little bit of validity to it. Like when you put up a little bit, you're like, okay, I kind of hear like a little bit more of like the crunchiness of the bass. I feel like it brought out a little bit of a different timbre on the overdrive guitars that are on the far side. I do feel like it made a difference there, but when you put it that high, you're really just killing a lot. And it's kind of like an old radio kind of sound. I don't know if I was seeing where it was trying to go with that. So we just dial it back and we just do something that does feel reasonable. There was like that cut around like 130. That was a very reasonable call. You put it up and you're like, yeah, I can see how this isn't serving the rest of the track. But let's go ahead and pull up our video. We will see if there's anything that just comes up. But let's see, what time are we at? Just crossed an hour, so we're about on track for one of these. feel like this one doesn't fit as well. Okay, I can hear something like that. Something I was talking about was adjusting that synth, but I kind of like those landings, honestly. Before it was not even the best impression. Okay. I'm really not mad at that. I'm happy. That sounds pretty cool. I think it's a little too much bass in the beginning, though. So let's hop over here. Actually, not even there. We're gonna start like way over here. we go. I'm pretty happy with that thing. I'm pretty happy with that thing. Alright, so we got ourselves a track. I think what we're going to do, and let's go switch. We can switch over back to the big camera here. My room's a mess. It will be fixed soon. Soon, as in today. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. That's not too bad. We got a nice cohesive track. I always have a weird flair. I feel like the drums are kind of a little more electronic than I originally wanted. I wanted a little bit of something, but it's a little more electronic than I expected. That bridge is a weird part. I did something odd with that. The bass is a little too distorted. The drums are a little too electronic. The solo guitar is a little too far away. There's all kinds of stuff I can nitpick still. And I think what I'm gonna do from here is, now that we have a good, like, this is usable enough. In my mind, I'm like, okay, I could maybe do a couple minor things, but this is pretty much good to send out. So I think I'm gonna listen to the last one, see what we missed, see if I really want to replicate it, or if we're just gonna roll through with this one. And there's a little bit of video editing, so it just needs to be done before it's ready to be marked complete or sent off or whatever. But until then, I appreciate you watching. I've noticed people have been watching. That's awesome. That makes me feel really good to see people are actually checking it out. So hopefully it is interesting. If you have any suggestions, any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Just go ahead and shoot me a comment. But other than that, I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you on the next one. What should we do next? I gotta think about that. I was talking about doing a metal one. I thought that'd be fun to do something a little heavier, but I don't know if that would be the best use of our time. Well, we'll think about it. If you have a suggestion for what we should do next, and like I said, feel free to reach out. I'm just chilling, just looking for something fun to do. So I will catch you on the next one.